And, oh, yeah. See the other little baby starting to come out down there?
Yep. I wouldn't have seen that. So Lee just showed me the Pheasant Back or Dryad Saddle Mushrooms that he's found. I am excited about this. I love mushrooms. Lee doesn't eat them much at all. I love them, and I can't wait to get a hold of these. And I'm gonna dry some of them. Now I blew that up. It's not that big. It's probably about as big as the palm of my hand. But up above it, in this dead tree, is another one. Oh, you can't see it from here.
Well, I didn't think I could see it in my phone a while ago either, but it actually showed up. Yeah, I can see it right there a little bit.
Okay.
It's
a big one there.
Looking.
A big one there. Right there. A big one. And then there's a little bit over here on this side. So we're going to be keeping an eye on them. He's going to get up there and get that big one. Probably Sunday.
Yeah, I'm saying probably
after we get
Sunday.
back from the shindig. And then probably by then that one will be big enough by then. So that'll be a few I can start on. I like to dice them up and saute them. He found several more, but they're real little. He spotted them. I would have never spotted them, but I'm going to show one of the real little ones he found that's just getting started. I would have never spotted it, but I'm going to zoom way in on it and show you one. Right there beside this one. Right there. And it's right beside those. But it's just a little bitty speck starting. Have a whole bunch of those he's found. So I am really excited about the Dryad Saddles this year. And then we'll be hunting morels. We're watching for morels. They'll come up. They come up first on a south-facing hill or a south-facing part of the woods. And our back of our hill where we've got morels is north-facing. So they always come up a little late. So we're starting to keep an eye on them, though. About another week or two, those will be starting to come up. But I like the Dryad Saddles almost better. They don't have as much flavor. But mushrooms don't have a lot of flavor. But the Dryad Saddles to me are thicker and more meatier. So I like that better myself. Now morels, everybody likes morels. They're great fried, deep fried. But I like the Dryad Saddles better for what I'm going to use them for sauteing them and for dehydrating them because they are thicker and meatier. So there you go. More things you can find in the woods. We love our woods.
Okay guys, the other day we started doing a video about that tree right there. I'm not really sure if you can see it, but it's broke down over to the side. About some mushrooms that was on it, that was growing. And they're, well, you've seen them at the beginning of this video because it's all going to go together anyway. But anyhow, I just climbed up that tree right there. This is Sunday, and I said by Sunday I would have to get at least the big ones that was growing up there down. I had to use a ladder, and that broke part is not real stable, so I did not video me climbing the ladder. I was paying more attention to that piece that's just laying up there. In case it started to come down, I would be able to jump. I'd rather break a leg than have that sucker fall on me and kill me. But anyway, I did manage to get this mushroom right here. This whole mushroom right here. There's two on there. It is huge. There is a lot of meaty mushroom on there. And so I'm taking this in the house now to Teresa. And she is probably going to end up saving a little bit out to probably cook up tonight, and then she's going to dehydrate some also. And there is, like you've seen, there's several more little ones that's coming out. They're still not quite big enough. This one here was almost about to get too big. It should have probably been gotten yesterday, but we was at the shindig, so we was gone all day long. So this is what we got today off of that one, and probably within the next, I'd say between now and next Sunday, there's going to be several more that we're going to get off of that one tree. And then there's another tree down there. I've already seen a few little ones growing on, and there will probably be some more coming out on a few of these other trees that I normally find them on here within the next couple of days. So over the next few weeks, we're going to be getting a bunch of these here mushrooms right here. These Pheasant Back, or the actual name, the Dryad Saddle. And we should be getting some more elves here any day now. Take these in here to her.
Here's that big old mushroom that Lee found. I have it soaking in a bowl of water in the sink. I like to soak it for a little bit. Soak them for a little bit. This one's huge. This is the biggest one we've had. And I actually weighed it, and it weighs just barely over a pound. So it is a pound mushroom. It actually weighed 1.02, so right at a pound. And we've not ever had one here that big. And probably because we usually pick them before they get that big. He just didn't get this one because it was way up in that tree. And we usually get them before now. But I'm glad we let this one go. Now I will have to cut. It's kind of where the thickest part is here is already kind of hard. So we'll have to cut that out. But I will still get most of that. I'll probably cut out about that much, and I'll get the rest of that. But this is the thickest part that's actually making it weigh more. But I'll cut that part out and probably still get a half a pound or a little more out of that. But anyway, I like to soak them. So they have this porous. I'm going to try to show you the porous on the back. It's very porous. Yeah, I think you could see that. Y'all have to cut all of this out because this is already too hard. So I'll cut that much out. But there's the porous can get little things in them, little specks in them. So I always soak them for a little while in water before I cut them up. And I usually, you can see stuff coming off of it. So I will soak that for a good 30 minutes in water. And then I'm going to, usually we get smaller ones at a time, and I cut them up and use them maybe for supper that night or within the next day or two. And but I've been waiting to get more so that I can dehydrate. And this is a perfect time for me to dehydrate since I got such a big one. I'm going to dice this up pretty small and dehydrate it in my dehydrator, and then I will chop it up good. I'm gonna have it, I'm not gonna powder it. Some people grind them up and powder it, and especially if it's harder like this part. From what I understand, you could actually use this part if you wanted to, but you'd need to dry it and then powder it, and I'm not going to do that. So I'm just going to dice it up and dehydrate it, and have a dehydrated mushroom to throw in omelet or soup or whatever. And I gotta say, I really appreciate that Lee does this for me, because he doesn't like mushroom. he rarely ever eats mushroom. Maybe if it was real small in soup, he would tolerate it, but he doesn't really like mushroom, and so he goes and does this for me. Now I probably will. I will try to like hide mushroom in some of his food, like not use much in soup or something that he's going to eat. But then if we make an omelet, you know, he can have his omelet his way, and I can put plenty in my omelet. But for the most part, he does not like mushroom, and so he does this for me, and I really appreciate it. And so that's what I'm going to do with it. And I want it to do distinguishing marks of this mushroom is obviously you can see what it looks like. It's called Pheasant Back, or the actual name is Dryad Saddle, but it's also called Pheasant Back by the looks of it, of course. And it's got that porous back. But the main telltale feature of this mushroom is the smell. It has a very unique smell. It smells like watermelon rind. And I mean, just unique smell. Of no other mushroom has that smell. It smells like watermelon rind. And so that's the telltale that you always know for sure. Just looking at it now, we kind of know now just looking at him. As soon as he spots one, he's like, oh, there's one, you know, he knows what it looks like now. But just to be sure, he'll smell of it and know for sure. So there you go, our first mushroom harvest of the season. So here's this big old mushroom. I am cutting into it. I'm dicing some up for dehydrating. I'm going to save me a little bit out to have with supper, to saute with my supper. And here is how much I didn't use. This chunk was pretty hard. Not terribly hard. Well, the very back end of it's pretty hard. This is what I've got left, and it's quite a bit. This big meaty part here, look at that. It looks like a pork chop. So, and then this side, I'll probably save about half of this piece to saute with my supper. So Lee won't eat it, so I'll save about half of that piece and saute it up with supper, and then I'm going to dehydrate the rest. So that's what I'm doing with that. Okay, my dehydrator is done with my mushrooms. I'm going to take that off of there and show you. They are quite crispy. And there are 2 trays of them. And it took about 4 hours, maybe a little more, 4 to 5 hours. At 4 hours, I turned it back on for just a little bit because I was busy and couldn't get them out yet, and I wanted to make sure they were done. And I think they were probably done at 4 hours, but they are really crispy now. So I know they're done now. I'm fixing to put them in a jar those up, and see how much we've got. So I got about a little over half a jar, pint jar, a little over half there out of that 1 pound mushroom. And that's actually quite a bit because that's dehydrated, and it won't take a whole lot to put in omelet or soup or something. So I will definitely fill that jar completely up. Foraging is wonderful, and so I have dehydrated mushrooms that I can put in some things. And like I said, that's dehydrated, so it won't take a whole lot of that to go in something. So there you go.